Now, you guys know I always like to give the caveat before I get into the story. This is a rumor. So by the time you watch this, you might have different information. This might be disproven. But as of right now, on Sunday, this is a rumor that's kind of circulating. So according to Video Game Chronicle, Horizon Zero Dawn 2 has started development soon after the first game's successful release. The sources have said. Initially, the game was planned for a PS4 release. However, it is thought that development has now shifted to the Sony's next generation console, the PS5. It's rumored to have a larger game world and more freedom to explore than its predecessor. People with knowledge of the game have indicated the inclusion of some kind of co-op feature, although it's not clear that if this is delivered through the main story or kind of like a separate mode. So obviously with the success of Horizon and Sony wanting new IPs to invest into for the future, this was kind of a given. We're no doubt going to get it. I also saw a secondary rumor and another story that there's rumors that Horizon's actually supposed to be ultimately a trilogy. So that's kind of circulating. So Steve, what do you think about the possibility of a Horizon 2?
So I think it's obvious that Horizon 2 is coming. I remember those leaked like job listings and stuff like that, and with the success that was Horizon, it's true. Obviously, whether it's not going to be called. I doubt it's going to be just called. I don't know what they would call it, but obviously there is a sequel coming.
Horizon One Dawn.
Zero Dawn. They go to One Dawn. I don't know what they're going to call it. It's obviously that they are preparing for this. That's why they're bringing this to PC. Because that's and it's obviously gonna be a PS5 game because I don't think there's any reason to put it on PC if it wasn't coming to the new system, because they're gonna use it to sell some hardware. Obviously, I expect nothing but another fantastic game. This is a game I've been waiting to kind of replay, and I might be able to do it soon once everything's kind of cleared up. I don't know what the co-op feature would necessarily be or if it's needed. If it's a single player campaign, which is to the standards that the first one had, fantastic, great, and there's an added co-op mechanic, that's cool. The more the better. I just don't want it to be a tacked on kind of multiplayer where just no one's gonna play it. I just don't know how you really do. What, are you gonna go hunting with someone or create your own character and you kind of like, I don't know, Red Dead Redemption 2. So that I don't know. I'm sure they will probably pull it off really well. I think pretty much all the rumor that's come out this week, obviously with it being development, I think it probably started development probably even before the first one launched, because the few stories and recordings and like reports is that people, Sony really knew they had a big, fantastic game on here. Like, I have a friend who never plays on PlayStation, and he would track down a PlayStation just to play Horizon, and I was like, and I've always kept my eye on it because it's a first party title, but I didn't think it was gonna be like that great blockbuster game. So I'm excited to see what they have for it. I'm excited to see the story. I wonder if they're gonna continue the story from the first one, or if they're gonna go just completely out of the way, disconnected kind of universe type thing. Because they have a lot of options. That's the thing. They have so many options where timeline they want to go. Character they want to go, prequel, not prequel, what characters can return technically, depending what time and they set everything in. But I mean, I'm excited. The other little rumor that it's probably going to be set for a trilogy, I mean, every game pretty much that ever created is usually planned for sequels and trilogy because they hope for it to be successful.
Especially from Sony.
Yeah, especially from Sony. I mean, what's the last time except probably The Last of Us, I don't see any other one not getting tons of sequels. As long as the quality is good, the fan base is happy, and the creators are behind it, I don't see why you wouldn't want to make sequels. I don't think I'm sure that's probably come up, but they're probably all focused on making Horizon 2 a great game instead of trying to make it as another platform to launch a third game. Because then you get into territory of are you gonna cut stuff out of this game to not, to be able to up yourself in the future? But I mean, I'm excited. More Horizon's great, and I'm excited to see what they have because they've been quiet since the launch of it. Really, since the launch of the DLC.
Yeah, the detail that interests me the most out of this rumored story is the idea of them kind of exploring a larger game world for this one, because that kind of ring a little strange to me because I played through Horizon. I also played through the Frozen Wilds expansion, which was massive in its own regard, and it opened up a whole nother section of the map. The size of the map was already like astronomically huge. So at no point was I was just like, you know what, this game needs to be even bigger. Now, that's certainly not something I'm opposed to at all, and I think there's a lot of benefits that they can have from there in terms of like diversity of environment is something that I'm particularly interested in. Bigger fields doesn't interest me, but fields, deserts, volcanoes, all different types of stuff. That's something I thought that like Breath of the Wild, for example, did very well. Is just diversity of environment. That is something that excites me. The thing is, as I play more games, larger worlds become less appealing to me, and more dense, engaging worlds become more appealing to me. So if they're able to increase that kind of like action density and in terms of different environmental challenges and stuff that you can engage with, that is something that really interests me. But if they just make it bigger, especially once you enter in the modern game sphere, you got like fast travel and in different waypoints and stuff like that. You're not running across the stuff, so they can make the game as large as possible. But if you're not like really going by foot through a lot of places, it's not something that ultimately I think the player really realizes that much, if you get what I'm saying. So I'm curious to see the direction they go in. There was no doubt that this was going to get a sequel, and I'm excited to see. I'm also excited to see, and we only have one entry so far, so we don't know the direction they're going to take narratively. Is this going to be a franchise that, for example, follows Aloy's story? Or is this a franchise that's going to track the story of that world, Horizon as a world, and Halo is but like Aloy is but a cog in that wheel of this massive struggle going on of humanity versus these machines and the interrelated nature of like nature and machine and future and past and what are our place and all the different narrative themes they play around with. I'm curious to see if that's more the direction, that's the focal point of and then Aloy is but a part of it, and then Horizon 2 focuses on a different protagonist, but maybe Aloy plays some kind of supplementary role in there. So I'm curious to see how that plays out, but nonetheless, I mean, I'm there. More Sony exclusives, first party exclusives, they're on an amazing roll right now, so there was no doubt that they were going to continue that trajectory, and it would be amazing if they were able to get this out for a PS5 launch title. I think that is the kind of heat that they would need to really push this new console. But obviously, I mean, the development cycle, I always started it could have started before the first one came out, but I've always started it after Frozen Wilds was released. Frozen Wilds, I can't remember exactly, but I believe it was the tail end of 2017, if I'm not mistaken, like the latter part of 2017.
Yeah, it was almost, I believe so.
So that tells me full-scale development perhaps maybe started in early or late 2017, early 2018. A 2-year dev cycle for an ambitious sequel on a next-gen console seems a little tight for me. So I don't think we see this game any sooner than, quarter 2 2021, in my opinion. When do you think this would possibly come out, if you had to guess?
Yeah, at the earliest, I probably would say, summer 20... No, at the earliest, I'd probably say fall 2021. Okay. Because you do have to remember that I don't know how many of the team went over there, but these guys also worked on Death Stranding. Death Stranding was able to crank out super fast because right, it's all on their engine, right? The Decima.
Yes, this is their engine, and they got Killzone too.
And they got and they have Killzone. So you got to realize, I don't know how much of the team went over there to help crank out Death Stranding as fast as it did. So you're probably looking earliest 2021 fall game, because they're not gonna just rush it. As much as the engine is already there, character models, adventures, voice acting, they do all the mocap and all that stuff. All that takes time, especially now in this weird lockup social distancing thing. Mocap and all that kind of stuff can't be done right now. You can get some of the voice acting done for certain people, but we don't know all the stuff that's kind of hidden back there, which is why it's smart for them to not announce it anytime soon until they have a more solid game plan. But I wouldn't expect it any sooner than that, fall 2021.
Yeah, because sequels are tricky because you have a new IP, but the sequel can be completely transformative and incredibly ambitious, or kind of more of a good thing. And that is ultimately what I think will make or break this game in terms of like the dev cycle. They have a lot of assets. They have a world built. I don't know if the sequel is going to be so transformative to the point where like they need a whole another 3 to 4 year dev cycle, or are they just going to use a lot of the infrastructure? Maybe what we'll see with like Spider-Man, for example, where they take the city, they introduce new things to do, new enemies, new suits. So it's just more of a good thing that we already liked. So again, I don't know if this is if this occupies the same map in some kind of reskinned manner, then yeah, the dev cycle can be cut down a lot. But I just don't know if a Sony first party game gets that treatment, if you know what I mean. So
yeah,
I feel like we can keep our eye on it.
Yeah, I feel like they're also, Guerrilla's also at the point where they can be like, Sony, look, we need more time for this. And again, they might have a smaller team doing, the rumored Killzone for launch or whatever. So we'll see what they have going on. Hopefully, hear a little bit something soon.